Hello everyone, and welcome to my Xenoblade plus Torna tier list. I should clarify, Xenoblade 2 plus Torna tier list. I did do a Xenoblade 1 tier list a while back. That was really fun to do, so I thought, hey, now that I've completed both Xenoblade 2 and Xenoblade 2 Torna, wouldn't it be fun to do another tier list? So yeah, that's pretty much all this video is going to be. We're just going to talk about characters. Sorry about my camera quality. It is a little bit wonky up close. Luckily, my camera will be like this for the entire duration of the video, so you won't have to worry about that. But let's get started with the first one, shall we? So, the first character on this list, and they're in no particular order, I just decided to put them down like this. I just created this tier list like yesterday, honestly. So, we're just gonna go for it. So the first character is Adam. Oh, I should tell you about our tiers. We have S tier, which is no notes, A tier, which is great, B tier, which is pretty good, C tier, and D tier, oh hell no. So we're going to start with Adam. We're just going to go in order, honestly. And where would I put Adam? Let's see. He's only in the DLC, really. He doesn't make an appearance in the main game, except for, like, small moments where he's cloaked or just references to him. So I don't think he's, like, an important enough character for me to feel like I have enough knowledge of him to put him in S tier. I don't know if that makes sense, but I think since he was only in the DLC, I can't quite find it in me to put him in S tier, but I did like his character a lot, so I'm going to put him in A tier. The reason I say that, he's very likable. The guy is just a good guy. You can tell as soon as you meet him with Mithra at the beginning of Torna. Oh my god, I'm so sorry. I should mention there are spoilers in this video. There will be spoilers for both Xenoblade 2 and Xenoblade 2 Torna. So if you have a problem with spoilers, or you just don't want spoilers, just please don't watch this video. I don't want to spoil anyone who doesn't want to be spoiled on either of the games. So this is your warning. Run away now while you still can. Okay, back to the tier list. So we have Adam. He is honestly very likable, like I said. My favorite thing about him is just his personality and the way he interacts with Mithra and even Minoth, his blades. I just think he's very responsible, even though he's kind of a jokester. He's kind of hilarious, really. But I like that about him. I think that's kind of a cool attribute to Adam. He's just like a really likable person. Okay, next character we have Aegeon. Oh, how do I feel about Aegeon? He's in both the main game and the DLC, and I used him a lot. In terms of, if we were doing this based on how strong characters are, I think he'd go in either A or S because he was so useful in Xenoblade 2. I used him for Morag all the time, but as a character, personality-wise, and what I think of him, I'm just gonna put him in B tier. He's pretty good. Maybe I should put him in C tier. Is that an insult to Aegeon to put him in C tier? We'll put him in B tier for now. The reason I say that, he is likable to a certain extent. He, like, when he was Niall's blade in the main game, I really respected him, but once you get to know him, he's kind of boring as a character. I feel like he's very serious, and that's fine and all, but it doesn't make for very interesting, like, storylines, I feel like. I don't have a problem with him, but I just feel like maybe he could have been more fleshed out as a character. Maybe he could have been more diverse as a character. He just feels very serious and like he just wants to do his duty, which is fine, but it's a little bit disappointing when you compare it to the other major blades of the story. So yeah, let's move on from that one. Let's go to Akos. Oh my god, where do I put Akos? I'm gonna put him in C tier. Also, sorry some of these pictures are so small. You might not be able to tell who the character is by looking at it. I didn't pick the best pictures for some of these characters. It is my fault, I admit. But that is Akos, if you can tell or not. Akos, he's basically only in the main game. And when I first met him, I was like, oh, this guy sucks. He's horrible. He's so annoying. Like, why the hell is he in this game? Except he is a villain, so it makes sense. It made sense to me at the time. But the redemption arc of him and pretty much all the villains really made me like him more. I do think he's still a C tier character because his personality is annoying more than anything. He's very, him and his blade Abrona they just get on my nerves sometimes. I just feel like not even like, I don't know how to describe it. Maybe it's his personality, maybe it's just the way he presents himself, like his persona. I'm not a big fan of him. Oh, we're moving into a big one now. A Malthus. I think everyone knows where a Malthus goes. He goes in D tier. No surprise there. He couldn't possibly go in another tier, if I'm being honest. I mean, I just don't like a Malthus. I think this is an obvious one. I think most people would probably do that, unless they just like villains a lot. But a Malthus, I think, is the reason Malos is the way he is throughout the entire game. And if it hadn't been for a Malthus, we wouldn't have to deal with Malos, like, at all, which is crazy to think about. Like, a Malthus is the one who went to the... Sorry, I'm getting a weird pop-up. Okay, we're good. Malthus is the one who went to the World Tree, awakened Malos, started the whole problem, the Aegis War, just basically was a terrible influence on Malos, and then turned him into a crazy psychopath who just murders for fun. Do I have Malos on this list? I better have Malos. Okay, I do. Whew, I had a moment where I thought I forgot Malos, and I was like, that would be a terrible decision on my part. But yeah, Malthus, not a fan of him, never liked him. Even when we met him, I was like, who is this guy? But no, he's possibly one of the worst characters in the entire game. Him and Malos are really on the same level, in my opinion. Okay, so Brigid. I like Brigid a lot. At first, I wasn't sure about her. I mean, of course, in the beginning of the game, she's an enemy, so what are you supposed to think of her? But even when she joined our team, I thought she was kind of serious at first. But I think I am going to put her in A tier behind Adam, because I think Adam's better. But I do think Brigid is a great character. I really like her character. I think her personality is just really fun. I like that she bickers with Mithra. She's not afraid to, like, go toe-to-toe with the Aegis, which is pretty impressive. And I really like that they fleshed out her character, like, with her diary, and, like, that whole idea of the diary, it hadn't even crossed my mind before they brought it up in the story, and I was like, that's so smart, because since Blades can't retain their memories, that's such a genius way to circumvent that in a small way. And I really like that Brigid and Morag's dynamic. I think they work really well together, and the two of them are, like, just perfect. Like, great. I know I'm saying a lot of positive things about Brigid, but I don't think she herself is perfect, so I'm not going to put her in S tier. I do like her a lot as a character, but I do think, I don't know, I feel like there's something missing about her. I don't know if I'm being too harsh on her or what, but I'm going to put her in A tier. Alright, moving on, we have Corinne. Where would she go? A tier or B? I really like Corinne. I think she's a great character. I'm going to put her in A tier. That might be a shocking choice, but I think she's better than B tier. I think I like her more than Gion. She's kind of a minor character, so we don't know a lot about her, but just from the moment you meet her, she's so, like, warm and likable, and you can really tell that she truly cares about Rex, which is something that I really appreciate, especially, like, for a parental figure for Rex, considering what happened to his parents. I think she's just the perfect role model. Okay, moving on to Dromark. Ooh, where do we put Dromark? I like Brigid more than Dromark, but I like Dromark more than I like Corinne. So maybe there? Nobody in S tier yet. That feels wrong. But I like Dromark a lot. I think he's honestly a great blade. It's really cool to see his relationship with Nia. They kind of just vibe with each other. Their relationship's really fun and likable. Oh, my camera got messed up. I'm sorry. I don't know how long it's been like that, but let me fix it. It was a little bit up. But Dromark, yeah, the thing about Dromark is he's another really likable character. I think there's nothing really bad about him. He doesn't have any, like, personality flaws, and he's funny. I just picture that scene where he was wearing the sleeping cap, where everyone was just lying in beds and he had, like, a cap on his head. I don't know why, but that stands out to me. It was so funny. I just really like Dromark. I don't think he's perfect, though. Like, he's not, like, a character that I'd be like, yes, I would die for this character. So I'm not going to put him in S tier. Oh boy, we get Dougal. Dougal. We can put him in front of a Malthus. He's not as bad as a Malthus. I don't know how it works. Would the person at the front of the tier be the most representative of that tier, or is it the best? I'm doing it as best to worst. So I'm going to say Dougal's better than a Malthus, but he's definitely in the D tier. Makes sense. He's a villain. I don't have much to say about him other than that. He's just is kind of annoying and sucks. He's not a good guy, and he's kind of, isn't he greedy? Honestly, I don't even remember him that well, but I wanted to include characters that were somewhat important to the storyline, so I put him in here. But yeah, not my favorite. Okay, then we have the King of Tantal, Zeke's dad. C or D tier, which is it? I could say he's but I really don't like him. He just seems like a kind of bad father and father figure. Let's put him in C tier. I'm feeling nice. The thing about him is that he literally kidnaps us all, like, the moment we step into Tantal, which is crazy. Like, all these people just hate on the Aegis so much. Like, they just hate Pyra and Mithra so much. It's to an extent that it's almost like, really? You really have that strong opinion about a person you've never met before? I don't know. I didn't get a good first impression of him, and honestly, throughout the entire story, I never really liked him. So I think we're just gonna leave him there and continue on. Hey, Gramps! Oh, I love Gramps. Gramps is one of my favorites. You know, I'm gonna put him in A tier before Adam. Not S tier again, I know, crazy. But I like Gramps a lot. I do. I think he's definitely one of the more, like, fun characters in the series. I mean, he starts off as a giant titan, and then he becomes this little tiny guy just early on in the story, all the way until, like, the end, where he retransforms. But, like, I kind of love that. Like, when you think Gramps is about to die, you feel this, like, oh no moment. But then he survives, and then his character is so funny. The way he, like, pokes fun at people and just isn't afraid to say what he thinks. I really like that about Gramps. So Gramps gets A tier. Alright, we have Haze. Ooh, if I'm talking about how fun it is to play as her, she would definitely go in S tier. As a character, though, should I do this as characters or as... Because if it's based on gameplay, I would put her in S tier. I really like playing as Haze. But as a character, she doesn't get much development. I'm going to put her also in A tier. Oh my god, everyone's in A tier for so far, aren't they? Haze, in the main game, didn't really care for her much. Was like, oh, she's cool, but she's kind of minor. I don't really have a strong opinion about her. And then when I played Torna, I was like, oh, I love playing as Haze because healing characters is so useful. In battle, it's so useful to play as a healer. And her character is also just, she is a good person. You can genuinely like her. She's such an innocent, nice person. There's, like, not a bad bone in her body, you know? She's just so, like, pure as a person. And I really like that about her. Yeah, let's move on. So we got Hugo. We do have Niall in here too, right? Yes, we do. So Hugo, honestly, I couldn't really care much about Hugo. I think I'm gonna put him in C tier. I think he's just an character for me. Maybe that's a hot take, I don't know. But I think he's a little bit boring. I'm sorry, Hugo, maybe it's because we don't get to know the characters that well in the DLC, but I kind of felt like he was there and he was like a character to play as, but in terms of storyline, I didn't feel like he added anything to the story. I hate to say that, but I felt like his arc was possibly the least interesting of all the arcs in Torna. I just couldn't find it in me to care for him that much. Nothing against the guy, but yeah. Alright, moving on. This is going to be a surprising take. I'm sure it's going to be a surprising take. But I'm going to put Jin in S tier. S tier, that's right. Someone who's a villain for the entire main game and is only a hero in the prequel. I'm putting him in S tier. I know, I'm going to have some surprising opinions on this, I feel, on this what do you call it? This tier list, I think. I think this is one of them. I really like Jin. I think he's such a complex character. In the main game, you really learn about his backstory with Laura, and you start to wonder about his past. But for most of the game, he's really just a villain, and you kind of don't like him. But then by the end, I was really rooting for him, and I was like, wait, Jin is actually a good guy, and maybe we shouldn't hate him? And then when I played Torna, I was like, okay, Jin, I love Jin. He's great. He's so sweet and kind in the prequel. But but when you really learn about his personality and what shaped him into being the person he is in Xenoblade 2, I really came to like him as a character. I think he's really complex, one of the more complex characters out of everyone, and I think he's one of my favorite characters, just of the whole game. I think there's no doubt about that for me. So, first S tier character. Wow. Okay, moving on. We got Lila. Lila's gonna go in B tier. I like her character, but I don't care enough to put her any higher. The reason for that, she's kind of minor, you know? She's like only in a small part of the story. I think if we had more time with Lila, she could be an A tier character for me, because based on what we know about her, I really liked what we got, the information we got about her. I mean, she's definitely struggled with Bana, how do you pronounce it? With Bana controlling her. That was so horrible. And when we fought her, she was pretty fun to fight, and she's got a very cool character design. But when we got to know Tatizo and learned the story behind what happened, I really liked her character, and she just seems so sweet and kind, and I really like that. Yeah. Alright, next character. I don't think this is a hot take, but I'm putting Laura in S tier behind Jin. Laura, I really like Laura. I really do. I mean, we barely get to see her in the main game because she's, of course, dead, low-key. She's in the ice. But in the prequel, oh, it's amazing. She's amazing to play as. And you really learn about her. Like, she is the main character of Torna, I think. Because she is the protagonist, so it's kind of cool to have a female protagonist in a Xenoblade game. Because this is, like, the only one where that's a thing, I feel like. But I really like that. I thought that was a really cool choice from their part. I hope they do that again. And I like Laura as a character. She is, like, so real. She's such a genuine person, and she has such depth to her. I thought it was so funny when she wouldn't go on the ship because she was like, sorry, that's not for me. Like, what? That's such a random quirk to have. But it worked with her character. Like, you really get a good picture of who she is. And I like that about her. So yeah, we're gonna do that for that one. Who is this? Is that Malos? I think it is. Okay, where do I put him? I mean, he is around the same level as Amalthus for me. You know, which one do I hate more? Definitely Amalthus, so Malos goes here. Oh boy, what do I even say about Malos? I mean, honestly, if anything, I feel bad for the guy. Like, by the end, when he dies at the end, I kind of just felt pity for him. I kind of felt like, man, maybe he wouldn't have been so bad if it wasn't for Amalthus. Now, I don't know if that's the takeaway I was supposed to get from that, but that is what I thought when I went through that. I was like, no, you know, I don't know if this guy is just a bad person, or maybe it's just Amalthus. So I find it hard to hate Malos, but also he did a lot of horrible stuff, so I can't put him anywhere above D tier. Okay, Mikhail. Ooh, that's a tough one. Because I hated him in the main game, but I loved him in the prequel. If it was kid Mikhail, maybe he'd put him in B tier. Adult Mikhail, though, was kind of annoying. But he did sacrifice himself for good. Maybe I'll put him in C tier in front of Hugo. When you like Mikhail more than Hugo, maybe that's a questionable decision. But also maybe that tells you how little Hugo felt like he contributed to Torna, for me. Mikhail, so, yeah, in the main game, I thought he was annoying. He was, like, a little bit of a womanizer, which was okay, I guess, but in certain ways I was like, he's a little weird. He's a little creepy sometimes. And I didn't like that about him. He did redeem himself at the end of the game, but in the prequel, when he was a little kid, that's where I really felt for him, because that poor guy, like, he had, like, no family, and he was just picked up by Laura and Jin and pretty much saved by them. And he wasn't the major character or anything, but I did like him, and I like really started to care about him by then. Yeah, alright, so next one, Minath. Minath. Where would he go? Honestly, I don't have a strong opinion about him. Maybe we'll put him in B tier behind Lila. You know, Minath, honestly, when I first played Torna, I didn't realize he was in the main game, because I was like, that name is familiar, where do I know him from? And then I realized, I had to look it up, but I realized he was Cole from Xenoblade 2, and I thought that was such a cool choice from the creators of the game to put a character like that, who's a minor character in the main game, and turn him into like a major blade in Torna. And seeing him young, that was so cool. I mean, as a character, I think he's kind of lackluster. I think maybe it's because he doesn't get a lot of screen time. I don't know. I think maybe if I'd spent more time with the character, I would have liked him more. I liked him in the main game. I don't remember a lot about the time with Cole and slash Minoth, but in the prequel, he was a pretty fun character. Granted, he didn't get a lot of dialogue. I think of all of the characters in Torna, he maybe got the least screen time. Maybe I'm wrong, but I think that's the case. So it was hard to connect to him. But I did like him, so I'm going to put him in B tier. Okay, here comes another really hot take. This is probably the strangest, the most surprising take. I'm going to put Morag as my favorite character in S tier. Possibly my favorite character in the entire game. I know that's kind of surprising because she's not. I mean, Rex is the main character. I feel like most people would expect you to pick Rex as your favorite character. He's the main character, he's got the most screen time, he's just a good character, but I really like Morag. I think she's so cool. She's cool, she's hot, she's awesome. Honestly, she's really fun as a person. Like, she's also really intelligent. I don't know, I have a lot to say about Morag, I guess. But I think, like, in terms of, like, a story arc, she has one of the most interesting story arcs. The way we see her in the beginning as an enemy, and then we see her with Niall, her cousin slash brother situation. I don't know how they're related. I think they're cousins. But we see how they have, like, a close friend, like, brother slash sistership with each other. I don't know why I phrased it that way. But I really liked seeing her character develop. When she joined the team, at first I was like, okay, I don't really care about her as a character, like, a lot, because she'd been our enemy all this time and she was kind of frustrating. But then as the story progressed, I really started to like her character. I thought, wow, this is a really, like, well thought out character. She's also different from most of the female characters in that she's not, like, overtly feminine, which I think is kind of cool. She's definitely got a more masculine appearance to her, which I think for a Xenoblade game, that's pretty cool. And I think she's just really smart. A lot of the times when they get into binds in the main game, the one who gets them out of it is Morag. Like, she'll say, like, oh, this is what's going on. And they'll be like, oh my god, you're right. And then they'll progress from there. I don't know. I really like her character. I think out of the entire list, that's my number one character. And that's probably not going to change. I think Morag and Jin are pretty safe in their positions as number 1 and 2. But yeah, let's keep going. Mythra. Ooh, Mythra. Where do I put Mythra? Honestly, Mythra, sometimes she's kind of annoying, but I also really like her character. I'm going to put her as A tier above Gramps. I know she's not an S tier, I apologize, but it's just because sometimes she's kind of annoying and kind of bitchy, you know? She's kind of, like, difficult to put up with sometimes. I like her character a lot. I think it's really interesting to see the dynamic between Pyra and Mythra and, like, the way they, like, complement each other and, like, differ from each other. I mean, granted, we don't see her until, like, what, chapter 4? But once we do get her, she's kind of just, like, really, like, sassy and, like, kind of harsh to Rex, which annoyed me. I thought she was a little bit annoying at first. But then getting to learn her character more, I was like, okay, I actually really like her. Like, she's obviously just got a lot of, like, defensive, she's very, like, what do you call it? Defensive about what she's been through and who she is. She's very, like, defensive the right word? Yeah, I think it is. And then in the prequel, when we play as Mythra more than, like, instead of Pyra, that's where you really get to know her. And seeing her interact with Adam was so fun. They work so well together. Honestly, their banter is, like, really great. And then, I mean, the ending of Torna, that made me so sad, honestly. I was so shocked at what happened. I couldn't believe it, honestly. But yeah, I think that's it for her. Nia! Ooh, I don't know if this is a hot take. I feel like all my opinions are hot takes. I don't know why. I'm going to put, is Nia before or after Laura? I like Laura a lot, but I think I'm going to put Nia before Laura. Nia! Ooh, what do I say about Nia? I mean, she's, like, there from almost the very beginning of the game. And I just love her character. I think she's so sassy, but in a cool way. Mithra's sassy in like an annoying way, but Nia does it in like a fun way. Sometimes like I'm like, okay, why did she say that? But honestly, it never really bothered me because I feel like that's just how she is, but she's not trying to be mean. She's honestly just being herself, and it kind of works for her. I just really like her character. I think of all the main characters behind like Morgan Rex, I think Nia's like my third favorite. Yeah. All right, moving on, we get Niall. I don't know why I put Niall here. He's kind of a minor character, but I think I might put him here in B tier before Lila. Again, he's a minor character. We barely see him. He like almost dies and then comes back. Really, more than anything, his relationship with Morag is what makes him so interesting, because that's where we learn more about him. Seeing him be a king at such a young age, honestly, it was kind of concerning to me because like that poor kid, he's so young. I don't know, I feel bad for the guy. Is he ready for so much experience? So much responsibility, I mean? I don't know. That's pretty much all I have to say about him, though. I like him. He's a cool character. His personality's fun, but he doesn't get much screen time. Okay, we got Nira, another one that I don't know if I needed to include, but I'm going to put it C tier in front of the King of Tantal. Nira, he's kind of just like the replacement for Bana, because Bana, like, is crazy, first of all. And Nira is like, okay, something's wrong here. You need to help us, right? Oh my god, I can't actually remember all of Nira's story. All I remember is doing a side quest for him and being like, okay, he seems like a really responsible Nopon, and I like this guy. So I guess I don't really have much else to say about him. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Alright, so Abrona. I'm going to put her in D tier. I don't like Abrona. I mean, I have nothing... I want to say I have nothing against her, but I just found her annoying and not likable. Honestly, just... there was nothing about her that I thought, ooh, this is a fun character. This is a character that I genuinely like. No, she was boring, her voice was annoying, and she was annoying. And then she just went back to her core crystal, so that was it. That was the entirety of her arc. She was there for like 2 seconds. So that's honestly all I have to say about her. Ooh, we're getting into fun characters. Pandoria. I'm gonna put Pandoria right here in A tier. What do I say about Pandoria? I like Pandoria a lot. Another character that I really like. I mean, her arc, I heard someone say in her arc, she goes from having glasses where you can't see her eyes to where you can see her eyes, and that like shows emotion or something. I never noticed that, but that is an interesting point to note in the story. Other than that, she's kind of just funny. Her and Zeke really work well together. I mean, the two of them, they're like a pair. They're like this, you know, like they're close. They work really well together. But and I think she has a really cool design too. Her character looks really cool. Like her outfit, her hair, it's just really, it works. As a character, she doesn't get a ton, she gets screen time, like all the main characters do, but she doesn't get like an excessive amount, so it's hard for me to say she's like an S tier character for me. I think A tier fits her better. And I do like Mithra more than her. I just do, I don't know. So I think that's a good space for Pandoria. Okay, Patroka. I like Patroka more than Mick and Akos. I'm going to put her in B tier. That might be surprising because she is a villain, but I like her like personality. I think she's fun as a villain. Now, granted, she is a villain, so it's hard to like her too much, for me personally. I mean, I know Jin's in S tier, so what am I saying, right? But Patroka, she's kind of, I don't know. Again, another character that doesn't have a lot of storyline behind them. Again, I know I'm putting some minor characters in here, so not all of them have a lot of screen time. But with Patroka, she's fun, but she's not like a character that I see great depth in. Although her personality is interesting, and seeing her, like, learning about her backstory with Akos, that really got me. The idea that their drivers were siblings, and then they saw each other as siblings, I thought that was, like, the most touching moment of both of their stories for me personally. But yeah, that's pretty much it for her. Oh, okay, so here's where it gets interesting. I put all 3 stages of Poppy's forms in here, mainly because I wasn't sure what I should do with her, so I put all 3 in. I don't know if that was my best choice, but we'll go with it. Poppy, I like Poppy a lot. Poppy Alpha, which is her first stage, that's the most important Poppy, I think. So we're going to put her here. I'm going to put all 3 Poppies in. I'm just going to put them in this order, because I think they're all equally good to me, although, like, equally good in my opinion. But I do feel like stages 2 and 3 were less important than stage 1, because stage 1, Poppy Alpha, was like the most important Poppy, I think. I really like her character. You know, I'm going to put her before Pandoria. Yeah, let's do that. That makes more sense to me. Poppy, she's such a sweet character. She gets paired up with Torna, who I think is kind of a weird character. Torna, I have some issues with Torna at times. I think he's a little bit sexist as a character, which I don't like. But I do like Poppy. I think she's very innocent because she was literally just born, like, as we meet her. But honestly, that works for her. And then you see her grow as a character as she becomes Poppy QT and then Poppy Cutie Pie. I think that whole idea of having 3 stages is really fun. The whole mechanic is just interesting, the way they chose Tora's blades to be 3 stages of Poppy. I didn't utilize her a lot as a character, like gameplay wise, but as a character, I think she had a great storyline, and I liked learning more about her. Like, she's a character that I would root for, you know? Like, I like Poppy as a character. Pyra! Okay, Pyra, does Pyra go before or after Nia? Pyra goes before Nia. I like Pyra a lot. Pyra's definitely one of my favorite blades in the game. I mean, we get her from the beginning, and she's just so likable too. I know I say this about a lot of characters, but a lot of characters in this game are likable. Pyra in particular is really easy to like. She's just so nice and cool, and she's very different from Mithra in that way, and that Mithra is very high energy and can be frustrating. Pyra is much more of like a calming personality, and she's definitely the type to soothe a situation or be awkward in a situation, honestly. But as a character, yeah, she's so great. And seeing her story arc, the way she like grows as a character, the way she thinks that she doesn't deserve to be like cared about by Rex. She thinks like she only brings him misery, which made me really sad, but it really teaches you about her personality. Like, there's a lot of depth to that storyline. Yeah, I think that's all I have to say about Pyra. So Rex. Rex goes right here. I think that's not a surprise. I mean, I think the first 2 are surprises, but after that, I think this list makes a lot of sense. For most people, I would say. For me, it makes sense the way it is, but Rex. Okay. What do I even say about Rex? He's the main character. He's just... Honestly, I couldn't think of a better protagonist for this game. I don't think they could have chosen a better protagonist. Rex is... I know a lot of people hate on Rex because he's so, like, dorky and, like, innocent and kind of foolish at times. But I think that really adds charm to his character. He might seem naive, but I think he's just very genuine and, like, honest and, like, it's just who he is, you know? I really like him as a character, and honestly, his progression in the story is really interesting too. The way he almost loses faith when he loses Pyra and Mithra and he's about to go on his own, and all the girls kind of yell at him and are like, "What are you doing, man? You can't give up on them." Like, you just see him grow as a person from start to finish. And a character that grows in a storyline is someone that's likable, in my opinion. I think that really adds, like, it makes the storyline more interesting to me, personally. Let's move on. We're almost done now. So we got Rock. Rock I'll put in B tier at the beginning. Sorry, Aegeon, you're like the least popular story character. I mean, like, playable character, I guess. Rock. What do I say about Rock? He's just fun to play as. I mean, I feel like he doesn't get a big part either, honestly, but what part he does get, he's just a fun blade. He's kind of goofy, and I like that about him. I think as a character that definitely, like, makes him, like, someone you want to go back to when he's, like, when you get a funny character like that. I don't know. Maybe he's not funny, but he just gives me the vibe of, like, he's a quirky guy, you know? And I like that about him. Honestly, I don't have too much more to say about him. So Tatazo. We can put Tatazo right here. Tatazo is not bad, so I can't put him in C tier. But he's not really someone I care about much either, so B tier seems right. He's Tora's dad, and Tatazo is... What do I say about him? I mean, he's very... Like, he cares about Tora a lot. And he created Lila with Grampy and Tora, and I think he's a very interesting character. I wish we did learn more about him because he did have a small part in the story other than helping with Poppy's third form, which I thought that was definitely a really fun moment for him. But yeah, that's kind of it. Okay, this is an odd character. I wasn't sure to put this character in, but we got the architect here. Now, this might seem rude, but I'm just going to put the architect in C tier. I don't really care about the architect. In a story-wise perspective, I do care about him for the world. Like, yes, he did create this universe, and that is really cool. But as a character, he only appears at the end. He doesn't seem like that great of a person when you see the flashbacks. He kind of seems like a jerk. So I don't really like him as a character. You know, I might put Mikhail before him, surprisingly enough. Please move. Oh my god, move, move, move. Is it not gonna move? Oh, there we go. Whew. I thought my tier list was glitching. I got scared. Yeah, that's pretty much all I have to say about him. Oh boy, Tora. What do I say about Tora? I don't want to be rude about Tora, but like I said, he kind of gives me like a sexist vibe. And I don't like that they did that to him because I like the concept of having a not bomb protagonist. And Tora seems like a good guy in all other ways. I just think the way he treated like Poppy and Pyra was just a little bit weird to me. I know that's maybe not the intention of the creators, but I felt that way when interacting with this character, so I can't put him in A tier like the rest of the story protagonists, A and S tier. So I think he has to go in B tier for me. And I'm sorry, Tora, no offense, but you're not my he's like my least favorite of the protagonists, honestly. Okay, Vandam. Where do we put Vandam? I think Vandam could go in B tier before Tora. I liked Vandam a lot. I kind of was shocked when he died. I wasn't expecting that. I thought he'd be like a main character for the rest of the game. So when he died, that actually made me really sad. The way he mentored Rex was really cool, and I really respected that about him. I just really liked him. I think he would have been a great character to have on the team the whole time. I'm still kind of bummed that he died. I just don't think it's fair. But again, that's how it goes, and that's really all there is to it, I guess. So, last character on this tier list, we get Zeke. Where do I put Zeke? Honestly, where do I put Zeke? Maybe we could put him in A tier before Pandy. Yeah, that seems right. Yeah. Okay, what do I say about Zeke? Zeke is such a character. From the moment we fought against him, I was intrigued by him. I was like, okay, maybe this is going to be a major villain in the game. But then when he joined our team, I was genuinely surprised. And learning about his backstory, the guy has had an interesting life. I mean, he helped Amalthus and Indol. Like, that's crazy. I mean, I know he wasn't, like, it wasn't malicious. It's not like he was a bad person, but it's just crazy to think about how he literally helped Amalthus unbeknown to what Amalthus was like. And the way his dad treated him, the way he experienced just various parts of his life was very interesting to me. I really like Zeke as a character. He's not an S tier character for me because I didn't think he was like so good that I loved his character, but I did think he was funny and entertaining, and I think for what he was meant to do, he did his role really well. I liked his character. Okay, yeah, that's really all the characters that we had. This is the ultimate tier list of mine, I guess. Interesting to think about. I don't know if there's any surprises. I'm not sure this is how everyone else would rank the characters. I know like the majority are in A tier. It seems like D tier is the smallest. Literally just Malus, Amalthus, Dougal, and Abrona. But I mean, maybe this shows that the game just had a lot of really cool characters. I mean, that S tier, these characters are my favorites. I love these characters. And I mean, early A tier too. All these characters are really good. I mean, all of A tier is really good, honestly. Yeah, I guess that's pretty much it though. That's my opinions about both games. I've been wanting to do this tier list for a while. I've been thinking about it like crazy. And so I'm glad I finally did it. I just beat Torna literally last week, so it's very fresh in my mind. But yeah, again, that's really all for today. I hope you enjoyed this video. I know I just kind of rambled on for 40 minutes, so sorry about that if you got bored. I apologize. I got really into it and just kept going, I guess. 37 characters was a bit much, maybe, but I had fun talking about it, so I hope you enjoyed this too. If you like this episode, feel free to leave a like or comment or subscribe if you want to. I genuinely appreciate all of that stuff. And yeah, I guess that's really it for today. So anyways, hope I see you in the next series on the channel now that Torna's over. Bye.